Hello, Reformers, and welcome back to Warsword Conquest. Now, when we left off, we had just defended Vareno against the likes of the Pirate Kingdom, and we actually won against overwhelming odds, if you can believe it. I personally could not believe it, but nevertheless, we did take out quite a few of their Pirate Ogres as well. Unfortunately, and I do say that with a very heavy heart, we were unable... We were unable to save this particular fellow from being defeated, but also we were unable to get Pirate King William in the actual battle itself. If we had gotten him, then, well, it would have, I suppose, gone either way, because otherwise then he would have brought his 98 Pirate Ogres, or whatever number he has now, probably much more than that, but nevertheless, he would have had very, very many Pirate Ogres. I would really love to be able to fight him and hopefully defeat him, but I think at this point, it's probably better that we just avoid him, because, well, last I saw him, he had over 400 units? Yeah, over 400 units, probably not a good idea to try to attack him, and Lord Kuran is actually charging in all of his units for no apparent reason. I think that's probably a bad idea, but nevertheless, we are going to be taking on this particular fellow, hopefully taking him out, and, oh, it appears as though everyone is going to be attacking the enemy infantry division. Well, I suppose what can you do? Yes, what can you do? I suppose we could have moved them away a little bit, but I just want to take out that Pirate Ogre as quickly as we can, and then try to deal some damage to the remaining units here as well. Now, do bear in mind, these guys are exceptionally good at long-ranged combat, so I suppose it's rather good that we just charge straight on in there, isn't it? There we are. Take out a couple of those pikemen as well. Wow, our archers are really just absolutely decimating their numbers right now, but obviously we do have trolls as well backing them up, being the meat of our forces, as well as a couple of cavalry from the High Elf Kingdom as well. Now, of course, we do have a high number of very, very good companions, and we are seeing them in this fight, that is for sure. As we can see, Bjorg is absolutely destroying them, and, well, why wouldn't he? He has an absolutely exceptional amount of HP, as well as Thrud, of course. They both have amazing amounts of HP, and they are able to do exceptional damage too. So we can only hope that we will not lose too many more units here. We are losing quite a few cavalry, and I have to admit that losing cavalry when you're actually fighting the Pirate Kingdom primarily, that's probably not the greatest thing to happen ever, is it? Because you really want to be able to just bear down upon them very, very quickly indeed, especially when you are on a field, and obviously on a very flat battlefield at that. When we are obviously against them in sieges, probably not the greatest idea to have a lot of cavalry, but, well, there it is. Okay, so we are now going to be capturing as many units as we can, and then we are going to be heading onward. Now, I did see a couple of other people here, and we are going to be hopefully dealing with them as well. Yes, just a pirate patrol, but they have a troll, actually, in their prisoner hold. So I think we're actually going to be dealing some damage to these guys as well. Even though there's only 13, I feel as though it is worth it quite a lot to do this, because we can get a troll. Why not? We can actually gain a troll, and we will be eliminating these guys in no time at all, and then we'll be heading onward. Now, I did say in the previous episode that we would try to get the guys, well, that we defeated in the siege defense in a field battle, because we would have been able to eliminate, well, quite a lot of Pirate Kingdom vassals, and I would have loved to have done that. However, obviously we were at 3% HP, so we were unable to actually get in there and deal some damage ourselves, and it would have meant that we would have had to charge in our units, well, basically just that, just charge in our units without us actually going in there, and it probably would have been a pretty bad result as a by-to-by. So yes, probably not the greatest idea to do that, but I suppose we can only hope that we will be able to meet them at another time. Now, these goblins are unable to be leveled up, which is something I'm not incredibly pleased with, so I'm not going to be taking them this time around. And we are now going to be exiting the loot screen and taking a look at our units. Now, these guys actually do level up rather fast, and we're going to try and see if we can... Wow, I actually had a lot more units when I obviously loaded up the save and everything, but there it is. Okay, so Thrud and Bjorg are both at 11%. which is obviously not great. So let's just see what actually happens here. We have a lot of patrols coming in. Oh, hello there. Oh, that's unfortunate. We actually have Lord Beetle in Snot fighting Captain Pete Deadwood as well as Pirate King William. Now, unfortunately enough, yes, yeah, Lord Beetle in Snot, he actually has a rather considerable army as far as I am aware, but it appears as that, yes, look at that, 123. That is really unfortunate. That is super unfortunate right there. Should we try? Should we try and eliminate it? No, I don't really want to try, you see, because look at that. 92 pirate ogres he has remaining. Obviously, it seems as though Lord Beetle and Snot is actually doing a really good job. In all retrospect, he seems to be doing actually very, very well indeed, considering he has some not very good units. I am actually quite surprised by this. Should we go in and help him? Because the only other thing that I can, well, rather surmise here that we could attempt to do is take the Pirate King Fortress while Pirate King William is busy. But if we then leave Lord Beetle and Snot to his fate, then surely we are going to be, well, decked, shall we say. Ah, yes, pirate jokes, wonderful. But yeah, we might actually be absolutely murdered, because obviously then the Pirate King will not have any problems attacking us or anything like that when we are attempting to siege his town. I actually think it's rather pointless to attack the Pirate King right now, so I'm thinking I'm probably going to go to the Pirate King Fortress. I know, I really want to attack Pirate King William so that we can eliminate it. Ooh, Lord Toxicotl! Lord Toxicotl! Yes, come on, let us do this. Come on, you must help. You must help us. No, where is he going? No, don't go over there. Okay, well, we're actually going to be helping him. And then we are going to be interacting with him, and we're going to hopefully ask him if he can assist us. That is hopefully going to be the case anyway. Let us see whether we are actually able to pull this off. That would be absolutely amazing, wouldn't it? Yes. It would be very, very nice to see that indeed. Now, let's just see here. Okay, so we outnumber them dramatically, of course. We do have Lord Toxicotl's units in here as well. That reminds me, I think I should probably head back to Martek at some point and actually start changing the units that spawn at our villages from Goblins into Lizardmen or maybe High Elves or something along those lines, because right now I feel as though Goblin units probably not going to be the greatest, are they? No. They're probably not going to be the greatest. And we do have a huge amount of Shadow Walkers and Forest Walkers anyway, so it really is not necessary for us to do anything to that effect. So, in other words, let us just charge straight on in here. We do want to prevent the Cannoneers from doing a significant amount of damage, of course, and we are just going to be eliminating as many Pirate Ogres as we can as well. Now, I must make sure that we are moving at a reasonable speed, otherwise we are obviously not going to be doing too much damage. Although, saying that, we did just deal a significant amount just by moving at, wow, really not a very fast speed at all, which I have to say is remarkable. So, yes, there we go. It appears as though sometimes we actually hit for a lot less damage when we are moving faster. Well, it seems we may just have to hit at an appropriate time, perhaps. Yes, the timing is most likely the issue there. And, yes, there it is. So Lord Toxicotl's units are actually dealing a very decisive blow against our opponent right now. So otherwise, what we can do is, yes, we can actually just see that we've lost 3 units and 17 to death as well. No, actually, 3 as in death and obviously 17 wounded. That's not too bad, I have to say. So, let's take a look at that. Yes, okay, we were able to eliminate him, and Lord Toxicotl has increased in relation as well. So, yes, he is rather happy with us now. Of course, he's not incredibly happy. I would prefer if he was above 50 relation. But, obviously, considering we had to expand with a couple of vassals, considering our area or territory was gaining speed or gaining volume, radius, whatever you want to call it, and we needed more vassals to protect our lands. Unfortunately, yes, those lands are now gone, and they are now the dwarves' property. So, let us speak to Lord Toxicotl, or, yes, that's not even his name, really, but we are going to just call him that anyway. So, let's now... No, you don't have your own business. You do not have your own business. We need to help Lord Beetleins not against Pirate King William. Can we actually make that happen? I actually don't know whether that's going to make any difference. Well, 250 against 357, and there are a huge amount of pirate ogres. This is such a difficult decision to make, because Lord Beetleins he doesn't actually have that many units. I would love to be able to help him, but if Lord Toxicotl actually came in here, we would have no problems whatsoever, and we would easily, and I say easily with a grand amount of vigor there, because it is easy, to say the least, to defeat Pirate King William as long as we had Lord Toxicotl alongside us, but unfortunately it appears as though we will have to leave him to his own devices. Not entirely sure what Lord Toxicotl is doing, but, well, he's always been a very good vassal, so I suppose we will not take him, yeah, not punish him too much for that, obviously. So, Wow, there's actually a dwarf over there with only 35 units. Who would have thought it? Well, nevertheless, let us move on to the Pirate King Fortress, take a look and see what is actually going on here. And, aha, okay, so we have Captain Redtooth. Captain Redtooth, as well as Captain Pete and Captain Edward. Okay. And what do they have here? Oh my. Okay, 388 units. Only 2 pirate ogres. Okay, I'm actually just going to head in here and see what's going on. Okay, this is actually a... Wow. This is actually a ladder town. That is amazing. Okay, so these guys are going to attack me very, very soon. So I need to get this done. Need to get this done. Need to get this done. Thank you. Okay, so let's wait until tomorrow. We need to make sure that we are fighting in the morning. And there we have it. Okay, so... Are we going to be able to do this? Question mark. That is a big question mark over this particular decision. It is probably a bad decision, but we're going to do it anyway. Let us lead our soldiers in an assault, and we'll see what we can do. So now, what is going to happen is we're going to be charging everyone in, apart from our archers, who we're going to get at the bottom here. Hopefully keep them back, and then we'll just get our trolls and various infantry units to hopefully charge as quickly as possible, because otherwise the pirates are just going to rain down death and destruction upon us, because of course they are a ranged faction and we want to prevent them from dealing that much damage. So let's do this, shall we? As soon as we get in on the battlements, I feel as though we will have an exceptional chance at actually succeeding here. So let's just see whether that happens. I am being shot, of course, but that's what happens when you are without a shield. So let's see what we can do. Come on, we are fighting alongside Thrud, and oh, he's actually just gotten himself taken out, which is really, really unfortunate. I was hopeful that he would stick around for a little bit longer, but he did absorb a lot of the damage. At least I think that was Thrud. Was that Thrud? Yes, I think it was, because an undivided champion is also here. They seem to share the same armor anyway, but there it is. We have taken out all of those fellows, and we are now going to be telling our archers to charge in as well, just in case I get taken out. Obviously, Warsword Conquest does not incorporate the battle map after you are dead, so there is a good chance of that actually happening. We want to be very, very careful right now, and we want to get our archers in here. Yes, come on, archers. Okay, they have actually a lot of arrows left, so I'm thinking we probably want to put them over here instead of charging them in. We're going to place them over here, hopefully get our infantry reinforcements up here as well. Now, obviously, as you can see, there are a huge amount of units just waiting for us up here, and we want to clear the way for our infantry and hopefully make our way up here. Now, obviously, the pirates are actually reasonable in melee combat, but as we have so far seen, they do appear to fall before us very, very quickly indeed. They don't have shields, they are not able to block, considering we are using a ball and chain weapon, and we just want to make sure that we absolutely destroy their lines right now, because obviously, as we can see here, they actually don't have any space to fire. Apart from one line of units, they really don't have any space. So we should, in theory, be winning this now. I was really just very worried about the initial charge. We have lost a good amount of units. Yeah, actually quite a lot. That's unfortunate. Okay, well, what can you do? That is the prize of taking the Pirate King Fortress, and hopefully defending it, because obviously Pirate King William is going to be very, very upset by our actions. And he's probably going to be heading on over very, very quickly indeed. And he's probably going to attempt to take it back. But we are going to try to prevent him from doing so. Hopefully Lord Toxicotl will actually turn up at some point as well. Hopefully he will be like, oh yes, hello, I'm coming to help, and then proceeding to help, obviously. So let's just see what goes on here. Unfortunately, we were taken out by a very bad unit, in fact. He was actually managing to get by our cone of attack there, so a little unfortunate, I have to say, but thankfully enough, we have just received more reinforcements, so we will not need to retreat. I am actually very, very worried about our retreat, because if we do, in fact, retreat, then we are going to be in a very sore spot indeed. It is actually going to cause us so many difficulties that I feel as though we will probably be completely defeated as a result. So let us just hope that our units here, that our varying amounts of high elves and undead units, as well as goblins, of course, are able to fight tooth and nail through the enemy's lines, and they'll be able to get over here and eliminate the rest of them. Now, yes, this is exactly the reason why I was a little bit skeptical about putting our archers in a hold position order, because obviously, as you can see here, many of the forest walkers actually have arrows remaining, whereas the shadow walkers, I think they actually have, yeah, they actually do have arrows as well, but the problem is, as you can see, they have no line of sight. No line of sight whatsoever, so they are going to have, well, suffice it to say, incredible difficulties actually even getting up here and shooting them. So let's just hope that the enemies will dwindle eventually. If not, then we will have to retreat. And if I am actually having to reconstruct our ladders, then I have a feeling we will probably be beset upon by a huge amount of units, and as a result, we will not have the opportunity to capture the Pirate King fortress, which I have to say is a great disappointment. I think if I had charged in our archers right now, I think we would already have a victory, and so that is my bad. Yes, that was my bad. I thought to myself, maybe I should have charged them in just as I was going to die there, but obviously I needed to be a little bit quicker in our reactions there. So, it seems as though we will have to retreat, because as we can see here, many of our archers are obviously taking up the company size, and the reinforcements, I suppose, will not actually be joining us. So there it is. Yes, that is a retreat, and oh, thankfully enough, our 6 bloodletters actually only took wounds there. That's actually remarkable, I have to say. Okay, so let's take a look at our trolls. Wow, that's actually a good ratio as well. Only 3 of them were killed, 4 wounded, and we lost 151 in total. Actually, yeah, we lost 151 in total. Wow. That is actually incredible losses right there, but what? They actually lost 396? Oh my goodness, if only I had known. If only I had known they had lost so many. But look, do you see this? They still have 203 units right there. Now, the only thing we really want is 354 prisoners. Do you see those prisoners? Yes, I do. Goodness me, that would be absolutely fantastic. But as we now know what is going to happen, do we know what's going to happen? Maybe. Maybe we could be cheeky here. Can we be cheeky? Can we actually pull this off? Let's just see whether that's possible. We might be able to. If we are able to, this is going to be absolutely amazing, but if we are unable to, then this is going to be the worst defeat that we have ever seen. So, let's see here. Okay, we are going to besiege it. We are going to take 9 hours. Let's hope Pirate King William does not turn up. Was that him? I think he is actually here, but we have 89 against 46. We are going to take to the field. Obviously, as we can see here, we only have 10% HP. We had another 200 units to take out in the garrison there. If only I was still alive, or if only I had just charged in our units just at the end of my life in that particular siege. That would have been absolutely fantastic. I really should have done that, but nevertheless, should-haves will not win the day right now, but we are going to be making our way over the battlefield here and eliminating these couple of vassals that are attempting to prey upon us when we are at our weakest. And of course we are then going to attempt to avoid Pirate King William. The only unfortunate thing about this, in fact, is that Joseph, who is our engineer, is currently unconscious. So that is the reason why we were not able to get the ladders up in time. And so let us charge everyone in. Hopefully we will not be taken out ourselves, otherwise we will lose our pathfinding skill. I actually think I do have pathfinding, maybe, but nevertheless, let's just take out these guys as best we can. And we'll see what we can do. Hopefully not get shot in the face by that cannon. Yes, he's holding it in his hands. Oh my. Okay, well, there it is. Wow, that is actually incredibly quick. Yeah, and that's exactly the reason why I am always surprised when we lose a lot of units, because look at that, we just absolutely steamrolled these particular guys, but unfortunately this is a field battle, of course, and we necessarily didn't have a disadvantage here. We actually had an advantage. So let us take this guy prisoner. And let's see. Okay, so there was only 2 vassals there. Wow, that's actually a little bit problematic. Okay, well, let's just hope and see whether we are actually going to have pathfinding skill. I actually think we do have pathfinding. I think we are the ones with pathfinding, at least. Hopefully it's not one of our companions, otherwise we are going to be in a very bad spot indeed. Oh my. Okay, so let's just see here. What are we doing? Well, there is Pirate King William, and yes. We do have pathfinding. That is wonderful. We actually do have pathfinding. So, what we are going to do now is we are going to just level up a couple of units here, and then we're going to be making our way on. And I think we're actually going to... Wow, okay, this is going to be problematic, isn't it? This is going to be very problematic. Okay, well, I am going to attempt to avoid Pirate King William as much as I can. He is moving very, very slowly indeed, as we can see. He is moving so slowly, so I can avoid him, as we can see right there. Now, amusingly enough, if one of those villagers had actually decided, you know what, we're going to try and engage, then they actually would have gotten us in battle with Pirate King William, but thankfully enough, we have avoided him, and we will now return to friendly territory. Okay. That appears to be somewhat difficult to deal with, isn't it? These guys are actually moving faster than us now, so, okay. I don't know what to do. What do we do? I have no idea, but... the one thing I do know is that I'm going to be ending this episode off here, and so I thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time.